Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. What would you do if you had King Billy's problems? If you had King Billy Cash? Huh? That's an interesting question. Oh man, look at that. Look at that beautiful car. Would you buy a beautiful car like that? Would you buy a Lamborghini Huracan Evo? Hurricane. Oh man, that's a pretty car. I had to ask my son. I'm not a car guy. If it was up to me, I would buy like a 21 window VW bus. That's the kind of guy I am, right? When it comes to cars. But let's talk about Billy Mitchell problems, right? Like, let's just put it into physical terms, because we talk about this money like it's made out of air or something. No. This money, if Billy Mitchell took the money in dollar bills and you just stacked them one on top of the other, it would be 254 feet high. Right? That's over 2 football fields. Right? That's a 20-story building. Just so you can... That's a lot of money. That's a huge amount of money. That's crazy. It's over 1,500 pounds worth of money. That weighs more than a polar bear. That just to put it into perspective of how much money we are talking about. Right? And put that into perspective, that he has this money because there was some idiot on the internet talking smack, right? Defaming somebody with stuff that they couldn't prove. Jesus Christ. It's insane. It's insane, right? But these are King Billy problems. You're not King Billy, right? He told you that. Don't go around suing people on the internet, because you're not going to end up like King Billy, most likely. You're going to end up like Karl Jobst, right? But before we continue, let's hear from our unofficial sponsor, Ricky Sauce. And let's see what King Billy has to say. In a future video, I will detail the gravity of my own destruction. Jeez. Brutal. Just brutal. At Karl Jobst Gaming, would you also like the Ricky world famous sauce analytics for your self-humiliation? I can't. RickySauce.com, discount code bankrupt. You get 10% off. Oh man. Geez, let me get composed here. Get back to my train of thought. Right now, what I'm about to tell you is not legal or financial advice of any kind. As a matter of fact, you should not take any advice from idiots on the internet, especially YouTube, or you're going to end up like Karl Jobst, not Billy Mitchell, right? Billy Mitchell already told you, you're not King Billy. Don't go around the internet threatening lawsuits and stuff like that, right? You got to be a champion to do this kind of stuff, right? So anyway, guys, I'm sitting there daydreaming in traffic, and what would I do with that kind of money? That's a lot of money, right? What would the normal average person do? I don't know. What do we think about with this kind of money? Well, real estate, right? You could buy like a really nice home, right? You at least a down payment, for a $2-3 million home, I guess. It depends where you live. But if I had to do it, right? Again, this is just me, right? Not you. This is hypothetical. I'd probably buy apartments. Really, that's what I would do. I'd take like $500,000, or just buy them straight out in a low cost market. But with my background, I'd probably buy the land and just build them. Just build, because now with all this capital, he can do some leverage. I would just build apartments straight up from the ground. And that would give you the maximum amount of return. Because just if you let's just say you just bought them, right? The returns on apartments are anywhere from 6 to 12% annually, right? And that's like cash on cash. And then you got to think about appreciation, rent increases over time, right? So you don't want to buy them in a crappy place like California with rent control and stuff where you're never going to make any money, right? Or a place like Berkeley where people are rather not renting the homes because it's more expensive to rent. Right, you lose money when you rent there, right? So you want to make a smart investment, and you can use a portion of what you're making to get a property manager, right? And then you still earn income passively. Like, you don't have to do anything. Just put it in there. What else could you do? Right? You could put it into a diversified index fund. Just like if you don't know anything about investment, like regular Joe, if you walk into the bank and ask them, hey, what should I do with my money? Right? I don't know. They'd probably just tell you, okay, well, we have these funds here, and the bank specialist, the manager, will tell you what their ideas are, I guess. You could put in there, I don't know, 400K. Put it in there. The returns on the market are usually 7 to 10%. Like, if it's not managed by, a wealth manager or whatever, you just stick it in there, pretty safe. It's tax efficient. It's liquid in case you need to use it anytime. You can, pull it out. My guess would be that Billy Mitchell, though, since he has a business, he would either do a business acquisition of some sort or an expansion, right? Because this is active income and control. And, whenever you're investing in a business, the return on investment, or the ROI, is typically higher, anywhere from 20 to 30%, right? I'm not going to get too lost in the weeds. Don't worry, I'm not going to get all technical on you. And he could put anywhere from 200 to 600,000 in there. I would leave, right? I myself will leave 200,000, right? And I don't know, maybe this is what Billy's going to do. I don't know. It would be my guess, right? But I think it would be pretty cool to leave at least a few $100,000 to buy a really cool car. And I'll show you my idea right now. Honorable mentions, right? If you want to be safe, and if I didn't know, if I wanted to wait to see what I wanted to invest in, maybe I put in a high yield, savings and CD, that kind of stuff, or just put it in the Roth IRA or a solo 401k. That's just put it in there and let it ride, right? But whatever I would decide, it would be my guess that King Billy would get a really cool car like this, right? That's a Lamborghini Huracan Evo. I think that's what they're called. My son's a car guy. I'm not, guys. If it was me, I would buy a VW bus at 21 window. That's what I would buy, right? That's my more my style, right? But my son is a car guy, and if Billy got something like this, right? If you got a Lamborghini with a license plate that says Karl Jobst, right? I think that would be the cherry on top of all the business. Now, let me ask you guys, how would you spend the money? Man, this is a lot of cash. Don't you wish you had King Billy problems? I sure do. All right, humans, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.